I'll get started about the Prerna Foundation. Anta means intrinsic, Prerna means motivation, and intrinsic motivation is the lifeblood of entrepreneurship. It is why we dream up the crazy things we do and then follow up and actually get them done. And I also believe Prerna is the phonetic root of the word entrepreneur, and that's how we came up to give the foundation this name. I'll talk about the different things we have come to do as part of the foundation. The first thing that we started off with coming up on 10 years ago is the industry show. And I'll talk about all of these in a little more detail here, but just want to give you the flair for the umbrella that the organization has become. We've been doing some research and publication, again, in the South Asian community and our impact in the US. As part of talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, we have come to capture their wisdom, the hustle, the adaptability, and all of those other things they do as entrepreneurs, and brought that to life through one-line life lessons. And then we recently launched the American South Asian Network, or ASAN for short. So that's the gamut of things we are doing as part of the Prerna Foundation. I'll dig a little deeper into each of these things. So the industry show, today we are the longest running talk show that features primarily South Asian entrepreneurs, executives, and change makers that are doing some amazing things. And we love to share the everyday journey of the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur could be a social entrepreneur, could be a change maker. Some familiar faces, some that are in the room here, and some that will be on the show pretty soon. So we are very proud of the work that our community has been doing over the years, and to have created a platform that has today shared more than 300 of these journeys and has upwards of 10 million views and more than 1 million engagements. We also wrote an article, and I thought this was a provocative title when I sent it to Fortune. I said, they're going to sanitize it. They did not. Right? So I said, Indians are taking over corporate America, and why we should believe the hype, because that is true. And it's not restricted to the traditional industries of tech and healthcare, which we obviously dominate, but this is across the board. We also listed and published the first ever list of companies that are listed on NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange that are led by a person of Indian origin. And today, there are 235 such companies that have a market cap of over $9 trillion. To let that sink in, the third largest economy in the world, Japan, has a GDP of $4.7 trillion. So very proud of it. We also created sub-lists within that. This one is for all the companies led by women. One-line life lessons. So I'm a lazy person, and having these 25, 45-minute talks on the industry show is great. I get to drink from the fire hose. It's exciting for me. But when I'm on the receiving end, when I'm watching another show or somebody, or listening to a podcast or listening to somebody talk, I say, give me the gist, right? Give me the bottom line. What am I learning from you? And my laziness drove us to define the one-line life lessons. And this is essentially your way to see if these thoughts resonate with you, and if the person that has these thoughts resonate with you, we want to invite you to come and invest the 20 minutes to watch the entire show and build a bond and a connection with the person who came up with these thoughts or is living their life and driving their business using some of these thought processes. So today we have over 2,000 of these one-line life lessons on our site, and would love to invite you to use this as a resource. Share it with your children, employees, teams, and anybody else you think should need that wisdom. Now, in June of this year, we launched the American South Asian Network, which is bringing the more than 6 million South Asians in the US together. This is why we started this. We are 2% of the population today. We are the most affluent and the fastest growing minority in the country. At 2%, we are paying more than 6% of individual taxes. We are running more than 60% of the hospitality industry, which brings in over $600 million a year employs more than 4.5 million people in the US. We're also 20% of the physicians, 18% of unicorn founders, and on and on. Yet, there is no entity that brings us all together, that represents us, and specifically the generation that was born and raised here. There is a void, there is a gap. And for many years we said, somebody should fix this. But then as true entrepreneurs, we said, well, nobody's going to, we should just do it. And we're really proud of the resonance that this has created. It has clicked with the audience that we are building for. And in the last 6 months, so we launched in end of June, the last 6 months, we've done 51 in-person events. Sounds crazy to me, and I would not recommend that. In these 6 months, we've built a community, we've got people together, and the primary demographic that we were going after, the younger generation, the generation that's born and raised here, this has truly resonated with them. And we are really proud of that. We've reached more than 5,000 people through these events, and we've tried to keep it fun. Right? So you saw stand-up paddleboarding, we've done Holi. We want to keep it engaging, we want to keep it fun, and not just talks and lectures and what have you. So, and at the same time, we're also bringing in a little bit of the culture, why we do the things we do, why are we so good at what we are good at, the hard work, the discipline, the resilience, the adaptability. So we've gone across New York, New Jersey, Michigan, San Francisco, Bay Area, and Southern California, with the goal of reaching out to even more cities, especially where we have a higher concentration of South Asians. We've done a few panel events. We've done a few of what we call our signature events, which are invite only. We curate the room, we bring in students, teenagers, investors, entrepreneurs, executives, philanthropists, to create some cross-section of conversations. And we ask people to come to be a resource for somebody else. Right? At most events, we go there with a certain hat. We want to be fundraising or we want to be selling, and that's all good. But I believe we need a space that is safe, where you show up as a whole person, and whatever is top of mind for you or whatever interaction you get into, you're able to give your full self to it. Very proud to say that we've reached more than 5,000 people through these 51 events, and thankfully for me and the rest of the team, we are taking a breather for the rest of the year to plan and strategize what the next year will look like. Hopefully bigger, stronger, and getting out to more places and more people. We've done some joint events with universities and other organizations. Our goal is to become that umbrella organization that helps you do more, be the loudspeaker for you, and get your work out to even more of your beneficiaries. So this event was a joint one with UC Irvine, and we have a few more on the books with other universities around the regions we shared, and then a few more that we are not present in yet. We also did the first ever South Asian Business Expo, and the goal was to bring in South Asian business owners with and together, but also to connect them to resources including government and larger organizations which have quotas that are reserved for minorities and women-owned businesses. In this tough market, when we are looking to get any deal we can, it is surprising that the government and larger organizations are sitting on billions of dollars of orders for people like us that can go get them. The only difference being most are not aware of these opportunities. Through this Business Expo, we were able to bring in, again, proud of these logos that are on here. We had the head of Region 9 for the Small Business Administration. Region 9 goes from, I believe, Washington all the way down to Hawaii. It's their largest region. We had their head. We had the National Program Director from the SBA, the Department of Labor, Department of Insurance, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And on the other side, we had business owners that had not had the opportunity, did not have the awareness of the resources that are available for us. Now, these 6 months have allowed us to define what our key initiatives should be. So we are focusing on 3. One is helping connect South Asian students to the industry with the goal of giving them more exposure, connecting them to mentors, and then also increasing their opportunities for internships and jobs. Now, when it comes to international students, there are 1 million foreign students in the US as of today. 31% come from South Asia. And most of these students will have difficulties getting internships. Pretty much all of them will have challenges getting a job. So one of the things we want to help them, especially with the international students, is acculturation. We may speak the language when we come here, but do we really understand how business is done? Right? So when we get the 6 or 7 weeks for internship, how do we increase the probability of converting them and converting those opportunities into jobs? The second thing we're working on is connecting the South Asian business owners to resources. And then we've started working on what's called the South Asian Spotlight, which is the place to highlight the good work that is being done by our community and the good things that are happening to our community. I don't read the newspaper, but I've been told that most of our ethnic newspapers where these stories are, they're buried under 60% of ads. I get it, it's a business. The other 38% is negative news or news about the country. Not a whole lot of space is dedicated to things that are happening here where we live, where our community is. So we've published in the last 2 months since we launched the South Asian Spotlight, we've published about 15 stories. And again, that has given us enough to say that this is an initiative we want to take into the next year. That's pretty much it. If any of this resonates with you, we would love to invite you to join our community, get involved, and reach out to us. Thank you.